All right, our last inverse function topic, and we're going to be writing our inverse functions this time. So we know with our points, we just switch our x and y. We know how to find them on a graph. So now we're going to be given a function, and we need to find the inverse of our function, what the actual function looks like. Okay, so I've got our steps up top. These are going to be highly referenced throughout not only our notes today, but also any work that we do. These are the notes that you should follow. All right, so step one is we are going to replace our f of x, and remember this is just how we name our functions, with y. Remember, y and f of x, they are the exact same thing, but when you're given an example, you're going to be given an f of x because we know that it's a function. All right, so step two, we're going to switch every x and y. Okay, let me back up. Back up. Pretend I didn't say that. Okay, so let's do step one on this example. So we have f of x equals 4x plus 8. So my first step says replace my f of x. So take this out and replace it with a y. So now we have y equals 4x plus 8. All right, now let's move on to step two. We're going to switch every x with every y. So what that means is that I am switching these two. So now this becomes x equals 4y plus 8. Okay? Now, this is the tricky part. Solve the equation for y. So, right now we have the equation solved for x. We have an x equals. Now we need to get it back into y equals based on this new equation we have here. So that means that we need to get y on one side by itself. And we know how to do all of that. So we are subtracting 8 from both sides. So we got x minus 8 equals my 4y. Right here, I've got 4 times y. The opposite is division, to get rid of that. So divide. Okay, so we've got x minus 8 divided by 4 equals y. Okay, so we've solved for y, what y equals. Now, step 4 is we're going to replace that y with f to the minus 1 of x. So this little symbol here, this is just noting that it is an inverse function. That's what the little minus at the top of the f is. So here we have f minus 1 up top of x equals x minus 8. That's an equal sign. 8 divided by 4. And this, now we have written our inverse function. Okay, so that's it. Getting rid of our f of x for a y, swapping our x and y's, kind of like we did the first day, solving for y, and then just changing our y to f negative 1x. Okay, let's try this second example. It's not the color I chose. Okay, so get rid of our f of x. So we've got y equals negative 3x minus 7. Now we are going to switch out our x's with our y's. So this becomes x equals negative 3y minus 7. Solve for y. So we got to get y by itself. So right now we've got to add, subtracting 7. So I'm going to add 7 to both sides. So we've got x plus 7 equals negative 3y. Right now we've got a negative 3 multiplied by y, 2y. Opposite is dividing, so divide out the negative 3. X plus 7 divided by negative 3 equals y. Almost done, almost done. Sorry about that, Belle. I need to change out this y for an f minus 1 of x. So f minus 1 up top, x equals x plus 7 divided by negative 3. And I'm fine with you leaving it exactly like this. Okay? This other example, get rid of your f of x first. Change that to a y. Y equals 9 plus 3x. All right, we know the steps by now. Let's switch out our x's and y's. So let's become x equals 9 plus 3y. At this step, don't change anything. The only thing we're doing is changing our x to y and our y to x. Don't start adding things. Don't start subtracting things. Don't do anything yet, okay? Now, here's where we need to get y by itself. So right now, we're adding a 9, so we need to subtract a 9. So we've got x minus 9 equals 3y, being multiplied by 3, divide by both sides by 3. So we've got x minus 9 divided by 3 equals y. Okay, don't forget this final step, because your answer technically is incorrect unless you put it in this form. F negative 1x equals x minus 9 divided by 3. All right. Same steps over and over and over. Let me know if you have questions, but I want you to work that D on your own to see if you've got it down before you move on. All right?